Every time you meet a fan and they say to you, like, you have no idea, like, how much you've helped me, or, like, you know, your music, blah, blah, I relate to it. Every time I want to remind them, like, this isn't about me helping you. Like, this is about you helping me.
It's like the exact opposite.
And they don't even get it. It's so cute because they're like, you help me so much. And I'm like, you have no idea how powerful you are.
Each set of fans are different all over the world. You know, they play in the UK. It's insane. It's like going to a football match, you know. The Latinos and the Italians, as you can probably well imagine, they would kill you with love.
It seems to me that after your show, your real problems really begin. What's it like with these fans outside? At first, it's murder, because, you know, it looks as though they're going to tear you apart. Once you get the hang of it, you get used to it.
Fan culture has been around for decades. Now more than ever, the evolution of what it means to be a fan has changed. Fans these days are considered stans, a term from an Eminem song.
Just a chat, truly yours, your biggest fan, this is Stan.
I wanted to delve into the world of fandom, learning everything on what it's like to be one, fandom as a community, the evolution of fandom, and how being a fan can help your life.
So I'm Claire. I've been a stan since I was like 13 years old. Started off with Justin Bieber, loved him loads, went to all his concerts from a really young age, like when he was forming his My World tour at the O2, and then recently came back for the Purpose tour, and I paid like 300 quid for tickets to be in the front row. It was so stupid. I was really into 5 Seconds of Summer for a really long amount of time. I still kind of am. I don't stand them as much, but I'm going to their concert next week because you just always love them. Like, it's just a part of you. And then I'm really in love with Halsey. I've stanned her since like 2014, and she's like huge now, and I've seen her every time she's been in London, and I've met her a few times, and yeah, she's like my number one.
What would you like? How would you define a stan?
As to define it, it would be someone that loves a singer or an artist so much it means that you'll spend ridiculous amounts of money on them, travel to go and see them, get really excited and like just happy when you're listening to their music or, you know, reading about them. And yeah, like being in the stan community, like you meet so many people. Honestly, like so many of my friends have been through Stan Twitter, so it's just a big community. Like you stan an idol, but you also make amazing friends.
Community seems to be a common theme when it comes to fan culture, but how important is this community?
Oh my God, it's so important. Like, I can't explain enough that if you're a stan of someone, you're gonna inevitably meet people on Twitter and follow people. Like, it's all of you. Like, when a fan is really happy about something, everyone around them is as well. And like, so if you stan someone and they tweet or they post something, like everyone's online, everyone's talking about it, everyone's like, oh my God, did you see this? You're all in it together and you're all talking to people about how it made you feel, because it would be awfully lonely if it was just you.
My name's Eddie Temple Morris. I am a musician, producer, remixer, and I do a show on Virgin Radio and I do a show on Channel 4.
With his background in all things music, Eddie gave a fascinating insight into fandom community.
Community is a huge part of it. It's a tribal thing. It comes right down to a prehistoric notion of togetherness. Together is stronger, and that's part of it. You know, tribalism is such a strong thing, and in popular culture, it manifests through fashion and music. And of course, the two are linked. You know, you take a band like Placebo or the Manics or Bowie. You know, such a strong link between the fashion and the music. It's almost like you look at it holistically, and you look at it. It's obviously tribal. Like I say the word tribal now, and I think of, on the negative side, having bricks thrown at me and being called like the most horrendous things because I was like a brown kid growing up in and around Hereford, which was incredibly racist when I was growing up. And that was a tribe of like skinheads, and then forward wind to the 80s, and I was wandering around with full makeup on and crimped hair. I looked like the lead singer of the Pale Waves, and except a lot happier. But all of this was tribal. You know, I felt like a part of something. I would go out to a club, and that club would be full of other boys with the same makeup and girls with similar makeup that we wanted to look like them. You know, it was all a really strong tribal thing, and that's always been there, and it always will be there.
Community is at the essence of fan culture, but what is it that keeps this alive?
Hey, my name's Richard Houghton. I'm a housing association director by day, but I also do research into music history, and I've compiled a number of books about different music acts, which are social histories combining fan stories and histories of the bands.
Do you think that that sense of community and that sense of like youthfulness basically keeps fan culture in the mainstream and has propelled it?
Yes, I think that's a lot of it. I mean, if you look at something like mod culture, where you've got people who are mods now in their 60s and even their 70s, so they were mods back in 1963, 64 when that was the thing. Often they've maintained that discipline, if that's the right word, throughout their lives. They still dress as mods. It's something they've adhered to because it enables them to identify themselves as individuals, whether you're a mod or whether you were a punk in the 70s or whether you were a heavy metal fan or a hippie in the 60s or 70s. You know, those tribes still exist because it's the way people defined themselves.
Fan culture exploded into the mainstream with acts such as Elvis, who became worldwide hits. But Beatlemania changed fan culture and took the world by storm.
Well, I think what's interesting about Beatlemania is that much as there are still Beatles fans in this country, and the Beatles obviously were a British band, were a band from Liverpool, as I'm sure everybody on the planet knows, there is probably more fan worship of the Beatles in the USA. There are still people who've got collections of memorabilia. There are Facebook groups where people chat about when they saw the Beatles in Dallas in 1965.
Jo Steffens is a fan who experienced the Beatles at their height in America. She spoke to documentary maker Pete Mitchell about her experience.
All I remember is screaming and hysteria and a little fuzzy music in the background. And I was aware that there was something big going on, and I was aware that everyone else was aware of it, and so that, you know, made it bigger in my own mind. And I would have to say that it was a thread, you know, throughout my early years at that time.
Before the internet, fandom culture was completely different. But how has it evolved?
When I started my journey as a fan, and when I started my journey as someone who has fans, artists were in an untouchable and unreachable position. There was always a buffer between the artist and the fan. There was the record label, there was the publishing company, there was management, there was an agent. The only place that you could interact with your hero or, you know, your heroes would be if you made the effort to go and hang out outside their house and wait for them to come out, or outside their label, or you know. And in the days of pre-internet, it was hard to know where they were. Now you've effectively got their phone number because everyone has a phone, and most of these stars use Twitter or Instagram, and so do all mere mortals. And so there is now a connection, a visible and tangible connection between fans and their heroes. You know, you can get through to anyone these days.
Mental health is something that is so relevant in fan culture, and these artists can help with the mental health of their fans and even save their lives.
With Halsey, it was more like she was definitely something that I could cling to when I wasn't in a good place, when I was going through it. Like, I was heavily depressed like 3 or 4 years ago now, and clinging to her music and having something to just love and put my energy into, it helps me grow as a person. Like, it helped build character for me because I could see that I could really love and be passionate about things. And she's just someone that, honestly, I could cry. Like, she just completely changed my life in a sense that I could cling to her, and I would listen to her music and be like, oh, someone gets it.
The one thing that I know from having been through a real struggle time and having been suicidal myself is that one of the strongest things is not feeling alone. And tribalism does that. You know, you are with your friends, you are with your kindred spirits. Even if you don't know these people, you have a connection with them and you don't feel alone. And everyone knows that feeling lonely is depressing. And for most people, and feeling together with someone, it makes your mental health much better. Music is a really, really powerful thing, and we should never forget that.
Everything's not lost.